What's going on, family? Long time no sleep. Black Reality TV back at y'all with another video. It's been a very long time since I've done any content. I just been in the cut chilling, listening to other, YouTubers takes on, LDBC topics, Lions Den basketball community, Lions Den box community topics, social issues, just, looking at everybody's channels, just been in the cut, relaxing. But let's get right into it and why I want to do a video. I want to talk about a potential fight, two potential big fights, and how these next couple of months is going to, I think is huge for the sport of boxing and the direction forward that's going to happen between these two fights, and why I think these next couple of months is going to be real big, because it can be a trickle down effect of another weight class. And I know you see the image, so it might give you a clue what I'm gonna talk about. So we're gonna talk about the welterweight division, the big fight that's been talked about for the last couple of years. Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. Most people consider these two guys two of the top 5, 6 best, two of the top 5, top 4 best fighters in the world. On most people who cover, watch the sport of boxing, view these guys as two of the top welterweights in the world. Now, Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford came up to the welterweight division after cleaning out the 140-pound division and also fighting at lightweight. Now, Errol Spence is definitely on the rise, one of the biggest stars in boxing, having 2 back-to-back pay-per-views early this year, against Mikey Garcia down in Dallas, Texas. Unanimous 12 one-sided beatdown, ass whooping of Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia had a big fan base, multiple-time world champion. A lot of people after the fight and during this fight that just happened between Sean Porter and Errol Spence, which is going to go down as one of the best fights of this year so far. Very close, competitive fight. I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't do a video talking about that fight, Errol Spence and Sean Porter, my predictions. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I thought Errol Spence was going to stop Sean Porter within, I said, between 9th to 10th round. It was going to be a very competitive fight, like it just happened. But Sean Porter definitely showed that he's one of the top 3, 4 best welterweights in the world. Even though Sean Porter has 3 losses, no one has decisively beaten Sean Porter, in my opinion. I mean, a lot of people feel like maybe out of the 3 losses, you can probably say maybe Keith Thurman maybe had the cleanest victory over Sean Porter, maybe. But a lot of people see Kell Brook. Errol Spence is the only guy to knock him down out of those 3 guys. But it was definitely a close competitive fight. Like I said before, definitely fight of the year. Now, going off 2 back-to-back pay-per-views, Errol Spence Jr. Winning those 2 fights, he's on a high right now. And Terrence Crawford, I feel, in Top Rank, and it's a combination of both, have really, I don't want to say taking the air out of the fight. It's still a highly anticipated fight, but the competition that Terrence Crawford has faced at welterweight is not stellar. Let's just be honest. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people feel like it's a 50-50 fight, 55-45 fight, but I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. Do we know that Terrence Crawford is the second best welterweight in the world? I mean, I gotta ask that question. I mean, what has Terrence Crawford done at welterweight for me to sit there and say that he's the legitimate number 2 guy? Now, a lot of people, just because, a lot of people want to say it was Bob Arum can't get him fights. Top Rank don't have a good stable. Well, Terrence Crawford knew that before re-signing with Top Rank. So, you know what I'm saying? I think blame goes both ways. The lack of promotion And the reason why I want to get into talking about that is because talking about this fight and talking about this potential fight between Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz, a lot of things have to happen for it to take place. Andy Ruiz has to beat Anthony Joshua again for the second time in December at Saudi Arabia, and Deontay Wilder has to get past Luis Ortiz again, which is not going to be easy. I think Deontay Wilder is going to win the fight. I think Deontay Wilder is going to stop Andy Ruiz more impressively than he did the first fight. First fight was one of the best fights of 2018, back and forth, highly competitive. Uh, Luis southpaw style was definitely tricky for Deontay Wilder, hurting Deontay Wilder in the 7th round. But Deontay Wilder showed the heart of a champion and showed that he can overcome adversity, being hurt like that. And I was there in New York, at the Barclays Center when that fight took place, and then just the electricity of the crowd when he got hurt like that, and most people never seen Deontay Wilder hurt like that, and for him to, stay composed and still get Luis up out of there was very, very impressive. He also had a fight with Tyson Fury, a very controversial fight. A lot of people thought Tyson Fury won. People think Deontay Wilder won. I thought Deontay Wilder got robbed of a knockout victory, like a lot of people do. Like I said, but if he lines up and takes care of business, both guys take care of business, Andy Ruiz and Deontay Wilder, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think Deontay Wilder versus Andy Ruiz is a bigger fight than Errol Spence versus Sean Porter. Now, I think I said Sean Porter. Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. Sorry about that. Get your names mixed up. I think it's a bigger fight than that fight. And the reason why I say that is because you got to look at it, the fact that, let's be honest, the heavyweight division will always, in my opinion, be the king of boxing. I know the welterweight division recently has, been the cream of the crop when it comes to the sport of boxing, as far as generating the most money, Mayweather, Pacquiao era, but the heavyweight division is definitely on the come up. This is probably the best group of heavyweights that's been out there probably since the 1990s. Very good crop. A lot better than the Klitschko era. That was one of the most dullest heavyweight eras, in a long time. And look at the steam that this fight can gain. If Andy Ruiz can beat Anthony Joshua in December, Deontay Wilder takes care of business in November against Luis Ortiz, and then beat Tyson Fury again beat Tyson Fury in the rematch in February. That fight can line up perfectly for a May showdown of next year between Andy Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder, unification heavyweight title fight. 3 belts will be on the line. Now, I know there's I believe there's 2 mandatories that Andy Ruiz might have to do if he's the winner of that fight, or if Joshua wins the fight, whoever wins that fight. But let's say Andy Ruiz wins that fight, he has a mandatory for both of the belts that he has, I believe. But I don't think those sainted bodies would be stupid enough to want to try to strip him and lose out on that big payday. Because I think Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz can definitely, in my opinion, do more than 1 million. I think he can do close to 2 million pay-per-view buys. And this fight is just being talked about in a couple of months. How long have we been talking about Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford? We've been talking about Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford let's say the last 2 years, at least 2 years, 2.5 years. Can you honestly say that it can do more than 1 million pay-per-view buys? I'm not sure about that. I think the potential is there for it to do 1 million, but the lack of promotion on the other side, and what I mean by the other side is Terrence Crawford's camp, is really hurting the magnitude of the fight, in my opinion. And Al Heyman and PBC will have a tremendous leverage to get that fight made. Now, Bob Arum said that the fight between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence is going to happen in 2020, but if Andy Louise and Deontay Wilder take care of business at the end of the year and early part of next year, and they both keep both of these guys keep their belts, that fight is going to be huge. And I don't think Bob Arum is going to feel confident enough to want to make that fight the same year as Errol Spence. I mean, um, versus Deontay Wilder versus Andy Louise. I don't think Bob Arum is going to want to put that fight on the same year. Even though Bob Arum is, he's a snake, he's crooked, he's a liar, but he knows business. You know what I'm saying? I don't think in my opinion that Bob Arum's gonna feel comfortable putting that fight on the same year as a Deontay Wilder versus Andy Louise fight. That fight is gonna have so much momentum. I mean, like, look at the storylines. The underdog Andy Louise, the first ever Mexican American heavyweight in the history of boxing, pulling off one of the biggest upsets, not just this year, but in boxing history, and especially in recent heavyweight history. The biggest upset in heavyweight boxing history since Mike Tyson losing to Buster Douglas in the early 90s. You have the storylines. You have Deontay Wilder, one of the most devastating heavyweight forces in a long time, has knocked out or knocked down every opponent that he has been in the ring with. Terror, a machine. That, like I said, these little divisions they're being put on notice, man. They better. It's gonna be a tremendous pressure for them to get that fight done as soon as possible. Because at the welterweight division is so competitive right now that they don't want to drag this fight out. And let's say Crawford, let's say loses a step, or let's say Errol Spence, let's say loses or something. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen, and the luster of that fight drops down even more. So let me know what y'all guys think, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. What y'all think is the bigger fight? Deontay Wilder versus Andy Louise, or Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford? One fight is projected to be 2020, according to Bob Arum. And then you got the two heavyweight fights at the end of this year, both on PBC brand. Should not be difficult to make. So we can have two potential big fights on the same year. Do you think both are going to happen in the same year? Yes or no? Like, comment, subscribe. Shout out to the Lions Den boxing community. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.